everybody, this is Dawn again, and today I thought that I would show you guys what I do for my everyday makeup. And it's not going to be a makeup tutorial where I'm actually putting on the makeup, but I'm going to walk you guys through all of the products that I use, all of my brushes, why I love them and why I continue to use them. So here we go. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is my everyday makeup. My style is actually very natural. So as you can see, the colors that I'm using on my face are earth tone, a lot of browns. I don't use a lot of makeup and I don't use a lot of foundation. And that's because I like to retain my natural complexion as much as possible. So the first thing that I do is I work on my concealer. And the way that I do that is I use this Dermalogica as a total eye care with SPF 15. And I use this as kind of a primer and also to blend my concealer. The concealer that I use is this Bare Minerals, and it is light 2, and it's also an SPF 20. And that's really, really important because you don't want to get wrinkles when you get older. So I always try and put sunscreen, but I'm not going to talk about skincare so much today. I'm just going to talk about my makeup. What I do is that I usually just put on some of this on my hand, and then I blend it in together with the primer, and then I just start applying it underneath my eyes. So that's what I do for the concealer. I also use that around my nose and underneath my chin, and then on any blemish spots that I have. And because it's, cooler time of year right now, I've kind of lost my tan, so I'm using sort of the same color all over my face. And then I proceed with this, again, Bare Minerals. I love this brand. And the reason why I love it so much is because it doesn't clog my pores. And I'm a little bit prone to acne, unfortunately, so I can't really use those cakey foundations that, that sometimes look really good, but at the same time, I think on me, I've always loved to have more of a natural look. So I don't like to cake on my foundation, and I like to put as little on as possible. Again, you guys, this is an SPF 15, and I recommend getting a foundation that has SPF, unless you're putting it on underneath, which is very, very important. In fact, 15 is too little. I think 30 is the minimum that you should put on your face. So this shade is called Fairly Light, and inside it's a powder foundation. It's mineral powder, so it does not clog your pores, and it looks like this inside. It kind of comes out. And what I do is I usually don't dip my powder brush right inside, because then bacteria gets inside and that can block your pores again. So what I do typically is I tip out a little bit and put it on my hand again, right here. And then I use this Bobbi Brown. I have a whole collection of Bobbi Brown makeup brushes, which I've actually had for quite a few years, and they are in fantastic shape. I love the quality. Doesn't shed at all. And they fit in this little pouch, which I don't have right now with me, but it's very, very practical. You can bring them everywhere, and you can just have them at home. So this Bobbi Brown, it's a wooden brush here, and then I don't really know what it's made of, but very, very, very sturdy, and it feels amazing on your skin, so that's another plus. So this is what I use for my powder brush, and I put this on gently everywhere over my face, and I try and blend it in with my concealer. Next step is I usually go and straight to my eye color, and as I said before, I like my makeup to look very, very natural. I don't like a lot of tacky, cakey looking makeup. So this is Bobbi Brown, again, one of my favorite brands, and inside this is a triplet right here. And the thing that I love about these is that these are interchangeable, so you can actually take these out. Here, I'm going to show you. So you can take these out, and you can buy these individually, and you can just exchange them. You can take them and put them in their original case, which is just a plastic case. Take it with you if you want to take it to, bring it in your purse. But I like to keep them as a 3 like this because it also has this handy mirror. The 3 colors are Navajo 53, Shell 17, and Fawn 9. The middle color, which is the Shell 17, and I use that all over my eyelids, all over like this. And then the very, very lightest color I use just underneath here, just to highlight the brow. Then I use the fawn color, or sometimes if I don't want, because fawn has a little bit of shimmer, so if I don't want that, I actually use this eyebrow shadow, which I'm going to talk about later, as an eyeshadow, and it's from this place called Boom Boom Brow. Amazing place. I went on vacation with my mom. My mom and I travel a lot together, and this eyebrow place, it's really, really well known in New York, downtown, called Boom Boom Brow, and they sold me this. It's called Bet, this color. It's amazing. So this is something that I use just to highlight the eyeshadow a little bit, just as my second base color. Then my eyeshadow is pretty much done. Like I said, I don't wear a lot of eyeshadow. The next thing I would do before I get to the eyeliner is do my bronzer or my blush. I used to be a lot more into bronzer than I am now. I still do a little bit, but I actually prefer more of the pinkish tone. But if I were to use a bronzer, this is the one I would use, NARS. It's called Laguna. This is what it looks like. And it's kind of sort of a brownish, well, you know, brownish bronzy color. And I would take my blush brush and I would use it and just apply it on the cheek area. Then after that, I would always, not just leave it with a bronzer, but I would always highlight it with a little bit of blush. This is a gorgeous pink. It's called Coral. It was really, really in, I think, at the end of last year. They started to advertise Coral everywhere. But I love this color, and it just looks fantastic because it just makes you look like you're glowing, and it just gives you that real spark, you know, that feeling of youthfulness, and I love that. It makes me look alive. So this is the blush that I use, and again I use that with my blush brush from Bobbi Brown. Then I move on to my eyebrows, which are a very, very, very important part for me. And the way that I take care of my eyebrows is I do threading. And I used to wax my eyebrows, but that often, first I tweezed, and tweezing, it's just one of those things where you start tweezing and then you just want to keep doing more and more and more, and then you might just end up with no eyebrows. So I switched to waxing. I went and got it done, you know, in a salon. And the problem with that is that when you wax, your hair follicles here get exposed, and a lot of times bacteria gets caught inside. And that is when I started to break out on my forehead. And so I have I don't like waxing. And I recommend threading because I've been doing that lately, and it gives you a really, really clean line. Just make sure that you tell the person who's doing it not to take off too much, because there's nothing worse than no eyebrow look. So, but I love to highlight my eyebrows. Again, the Boom Boom Brow. First I brush my eyebrows with this Bobbi Brown eyebrow brush, and I don't use this to apply this because it's too harsh. The actual what is it called? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. They're just a bit too harsh for this. It would destroy it. So I usually just brush it just to kind of get it into shape. And then I use a thinner one, sometimes like an eyeliner brush like this. I underline the line just underneath, and then I keep doing it, and then I fill in the parts in between. And that just kind of gives it that real neat look that you want. This color is Bet, and again, this is the lightest color that they have. And I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make with filling in your eyebrows is to make them too dark when you're not going for that look. I mean, it's different if you're going for like a Dita Von Teese, you know, femme fatale look where you want to really fill in, you know, make a statement. But for everyday makeup, you want to just do something like, you want to make it as natural as possible. So you're just filling in what you're missing, basically. Then I move on to what I think is the most exciting part, which is the eyeliner. I use, for everyday, I use this MAC powder, and I actually don't know which one this is. I think it's Espresso. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is, Espresso. And I've used this year after year. I love this color for eyeliner. It's not too harsh. I think sometimes for everyday black can be a little bit too harsh. Great alternative because it still lines your eye and it's still going to give your eyes that accent, but it's not going to overwhelm them and it's not going to make everything else that you've done put on your face disappear. And I use that with this Bobbi Brown eyeliner brush. And I've used a lot of different kinds of brushes. My mom and I, we used to go shopping and, you know, try out all the different kinds of brushes. And this is the one that we're both the most satisfied with. And that's because I think the Bristol, that's what they're called. They're very, they're sturdy. And when you pick up the powder, I don't really know how to describe it. It just stays on and it just applies really, really well and really evenly across your eyelid. And the great thing about this is that you can add it, and you can add a little bit of, I don't have it here right now, but you can add a little bit of a liquid to it to make it look like a liquid eyeliner. And you can do that with pretty much any kind of powder, which is, I think, very cool. So that's that. Now, if I am going for more of an evening look or something a little bit more striking, then I will use a black eyeliner and I will go directly to using the Bobbi Brown Longwear Gel Eyeliner. This one is Black Ink #1. They actually have this in brown and blue, I believe, so if you want to go for a different look, that's great. And I love this. Out of all of the gel eyeliners that I've tried, this one, hands down, by far the best. It's long lasting, it doesn't smudge. There's nothing worse than going out at night and then realizing that half of your face is smudged black. You know, it's not practical. Again, I would use a thin eyeliner brush and I would just kind of wing it out a little bit on the side, and that it just gives you that extra, like, hey, evening look. And if during the day, I would probably just use, you know, a lip gloss like the Yves Saint Laurent one I was showing you guys earlier, or this is a Christian Dior smooth, it's called Smoothing Lacquer. Ooh, sounds very posh. Lip polish, and that just kind of gives it that glow. Very natural looking, very healthy again. Here, I can show you guys right now. It turns and it just helps you apply it and it looks really smooth. So, and it smells gorgeous. Yeah, amazing, I love it. Last but not least, actually I've got two more things to show you guys. Oh yeah, as I was saying, if I was going out in the evening, I would maybe do some red lipstick. Again, Christian Dior, great brand. I would first prime my lips with a little bit of primer, and then I would use this Bobbi Brown red shade. Let me see if the color's AA4, red, it just says red on it. That's what I would use to line my lips. And then I would use this Dior. This is a true red, right here, classic, to fill it in, just to give it that extra pop. Beautiful look. This is Rouge Dior 999. It says Rouge Aura Red. I love that color. It's classic. If you guys buy it, you know, obviously you can't keep makeup forever because it has a shelf life, but I would recommend that. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but to finish the brows, again, I got this at Boom Boom Brow when I went on my trip to New York with my mom. And this one is kind of like a clear mascara, But you basically use it to work over your brows after you've shaded them in with the powder. And this keeps them from falling down. Because it's not always good to trim your brows too short, because then you might end up with some bald spots. So I would recommend keeping the length and using this clear, it's called brow sear, to just, you know, gel it into place. I'm sure they have, you know, some kind of equivalent in Sephora or other stores or something like that. And then again, love Christian Dior, my two favorite mascaras. This one is Dior Show Iconic, which is great for everyday wear. It's a little bit less dramatic than this Dior Blackout. This one is really like, okay, if you really, you know, want to have thick black lashes, again, I would wear that more for the nighttime. And this is number 99. So that is my, that's what I do for my everyday makeup. If I use the products that I use, sometimes I use this for my eyelashes. These are both from Tweezerman, which are great brands because they're stainless steel and they will last forever. And this I just use to clean up a little bit sometimes, but I try not to pluck my eyebrows. I try to let the people do it in the salon. So thank you guys for watching. I had a great time sharing my everyday makeup routine with you, and I will be back next time with more exciting stuff. Bye!